Hi guys, how's it going? It's Ideas of Ice and Fire. So, we got a little bit more information on the Dune movie, which I'm just gonna call Dune 2020 since it's definitely not coming out this year. So, the Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohayam has been cast. The actress Charlotte Rampling is playing Gaius Helen Mohayam. Now, I recently saw her in the movie Red Sparrow with Jennifer Lawrence. I haven't seen her in too much other stuff, but she is a very accomplished actor. She's been acting for decades. I'm curious to see what she brings to the role of the Reverend Mother. So we've got Timothée Chalamet as Paul, sometimes I get his name wrong, sorry. Got Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, Dave Bautista as Raban, Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron Harkonnen, and now Rampling as the Reverend Mother. Now, all of these people, to me, pretty much look the part, but a lot of people aren't really convinced on some of them just yet. I was imagining someone like Tilda Swinton to portray the role of the Reverend Mother, but I also don't have any doubts that Rampling can pull off this role. She'll just bring something different to it than Tilda Swinton would have brought to it. Also, Brian Herbert, Frank Herbert's son, is working closely with the production of this movie, and he recently tweeted this. I've said many times to Dune fans that good things are happening behind the scenes, and the details will come out in due course. I'm saying that again now, and this time there's a lot more going on, and it's really exciting. In the fantastic Dune universe, great things are coming. So for the past several months now, every once in a while, Brian Herbert will tweet updates about what's going on with the movie and how he's receiving scripts, and it's getting better and better. This tweet here could be referring to the movie, but it could also be referring to other Dune projects that he's been talking about working on too. I know there is a significant portion of the Dune fandom as well that doesn't really trust Brian Herbert, but I feel like Denis Villeneuve also wants to make the best Dune movie that he possibly can. This is from a Denis Villeneuve interview. He says, "Since I was 12 years old, there was a book I read, which is Dune, which is my favorite book. The producer of Alcon asked me what I would like to do next, and I said Dune spontaneously. For me, it was just a dream, and I guess I'm lucky that Mary Parent from Legendary got the rights and offered it to me. I can't say no to that. I have images that I am haunted by for 35 years. I will not say no to that. That's going to be the project of my life." So, Denis Villeneuve seems very passionate about Dune, and I think that if he is really as huge of a Dune fan as he says he is, that he's probably read the other Frank Herbert Dune books, so he will go into the production of this movie with everything that comes after that in mind, just in case these movies get to the point where we're going to have sequels. We may or may not. We don't know how successful this is going to be. Villeneuve is certainly a capable director. I've seen Blade Runner 2049, which is a fantastic movie regardless of what any contrarians say. I've seen Arrival, which is also a fantastic movie. And then recently I've seen Enemy, which is a film that he did a little while ago, which I didn't even know it was his movie until after I finished watching it, which really blew my mind. So I am totally confident in Villeneuve's skill as a director. And also I feel like a lot with this movie is also hinging upon the casting of side characters like Chani, and definitely Leto Atreides is a big one, Leto the First, of course. And Stilgar, we still need casting for Stilgar, Gurney Halleck, the Emperor, Princess Irulan. We don't know what role she will play in this film. She has to be cast because we have to have her introduced. If we are actually going to move on into a sequel, Irulan does need to be cast and to be somewhat of a character in this film. I know that some people were a little bit confused. This is actually going to be 2 movies for the first book. Denis Villeneuve confirmed that a while ago. So we will actually have at least 4 hours to put as much content into these 2 movies as possible and really tell the entire story. It'll have to be condensed in certain ways and stretched in other ways, but I'm confident that this story can be portrayed in 4 hours. It just takes a good writer and a good director, and the pacing needs to be maintained. Pacing was a big issue in David Lynch's film, and both the theatrical release and the extended version of the movie. I think there are a few things that could be potentially damaging to this movie, and that would be if the studio starts to meddle with Denis Villeneuve's vision of the movie and they start to want to change things or put things in or take things out for a wider audience. Dune is definitely heady, much more cerebral science fiction for people that want to think, and it will definitely damage the story if they kind of pull a Game of Thrones in the later seasons with Dune and kind of dumb it down for a wider audience. I feel like it'll just blend in with the rest of the generic science fiction that's out there, and it won't be Dune anymore. I think that if we can just get two well-made movies that stick to the heart of that original Dune story, then I will personally be satisfied even if we don't get any sequels from that point on. Another thing that I think might turn people off is if Brian Herbert insists that the material from his expanded Dune books be put into these movies. I think that that could upset a rather large portion of the Frank Herbert book reading audience that aren't a fan of that material. I'm not against making movies about the Brian Herbert material, but I think we should wait until that point so that he can put that in those movies and kind of keep this movie a bit separate, because like I said, there are some contradictions from the Brian Herbert stuff to the Frank Herbert stuff, particularly the way the Butlerian Jihad goes down. In Dune, it's supposed to be men in control of machines. That is the issue. But in the Brian Herbert books, as I've said before, it is a machine, Omnius, getting the upper hand on humans and enslaving humans. So it's AI, that's the big danger, and not men in charge of AI, manipulating other people through that AI. So that I think that that is a key difference, and I think that a lot of people agree with me on that. But as we all know, there is debate within the community about a lot of these things. Alright guys, so that's all I got. I'm looking forward to hearing more about casting. When I do, I will try and update you guys here when I have kind of a bulk of information to talk about, because I don't want to just like talk if I don't really have anything to talk about. So the next time I get an update, I will post a video and I'll let you guys know. Things are looking up for this movie, and we will see what happens next. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like this video and subscribe.